Hi gang, you're going to graph cos or sine graph. So let me just put up the standard table here for cosine, and you can certainly have your standard tables out on your scrap paper. Okay, this is going to have a standard period because b is 1. So that means that's the standard cycle, right? It's just going to, it's not horizontally stretched or compressed. It's just going to be its standard width, which is 2 pi. All right, let's do the increment, which is the distance between the points on the chart. So the formula for that is the period over 4. So the period again is 2 pi. If we divide that by 4, that's pi over 2. Okay, this has a phase shift. It's pushed pi over 4 to the right. I'm going to write that down as interval, but it's also called a phase shift. Okay, so usually we would start at 0. That was our old start. And now you can see when we re-index the x value, we're going to start at pi over 4. And then we would usually stop at 2 pi. And we have to move the pi over 4 to the other side. Okay, here you're going to need an LCD because you're trying to add 2 pi plus pi over 4, so you're going to need an LCD, so you're going to multiply. So you're getting 9 pi over 4. So for your new table, you're going to start at pi over 4. You're going to end at 9 pi over 4. Okay, that's your new start and stop. And then to get the x values in the middle, you're going to add by the increment. Okay, the increment is pi over 2. So you're going to keep adding pi over 2 until you get to here. All right, so if we add pi over 2, since you need an LCD, it's going to seem a little bit more like you're adding 2 pi over 4, so that you have the same denominator when you add these. Okay, so that's going to be 3 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, and 7 pi over 4. So you have to keep adding pi over 2, which again you're going to convert it to 2 pi over 4. And then you keep adding it and you'll get these numbers. Okay, let's do the other part. Let's do the other part of the table. Now, let's go through what's happening to the cosine function. Let's do the amplitude. The amplitude is the height of the wave from the center, how high it goes up and how high it goes down. That's the absolute value of the number in front of the multiplied. That's the absolute value of the number multiplied in front of the trig. So the amplitude here is 2, meaning from the center point the wave goes up 2 and down 2. That's a vertical stretch of the graph. This negative is reflecting the graph over the x-axis, and this 1 is pushing the graph up 1 unit. All right, so that means all these points need to be stretched by 2, flipped over the x-axis, and pushed up by 1. So that's what you're going to see me do now. Where the trig is, I'm going to replace it with these output values. Okay, so this is our new table. These are the points we're going to plot to draw our graph. So just give me a second here. And if it goes out of focus, I'll fix it. I know it will do that occasionally. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to think about is what should be the size of my nicks? So the x values are by, if we just like if we roughly think that the jumps are pi over 2, like 3 over 2, if we roughly estimate that, that's like 1.5. And this, the y's, I'll go by 1. So I'm just trying to estimate. So the first increment is pi over 4, but then remember that we jump pi over 2, which is twice that. So I have to make it like twice that to get to the next one, which would be 3 pi over 4. So it has to be twice that. And now we have to keep 5 pi over 4, 7 pi over 4, 9 pi over 4. Okay, so it's not going to touch 0 because the width of one jump is pi over 2. So if I go to the left, the next point the next x value it will use will be negative pi over 4. And so on. Okay, this will be negative 3 pi over 4, and so on. Okay, this side, let me pull this a little bit out. 11 pi over 4. All right, so if this is 3/4, then 1 would look about here. We have to do a negative 1. We have to do a 2, and we have to do a 3. Okay, so at pi over 4, we're at negative 1. Let me see if I can find something better than that. Okay, pi over 4, we're at negative 1. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to go off the table here. So pi over 4, we're at negative 1. 3 pi over 4, we're at 1. 5 pi over 4, we're at 3. 7 pi over 4, we're back at 1. 9 pi over 4, we're at negative 1. Let me move this guy over a tad. All right, so once you get one of the cycles down, please just stretch it out a little bit more. Or whatever they're going to ask you on Alex, okay? Maybe they won't ask you to stretch it out. But I can't remember exactly how the question looked. They are going to ask you to graph or sine or cosine. I just can't remember how they want it in the window. So I'm going to stretch this out a little bit. Okay, 1 is here, back up to here, back to here. Right, so there's no coordinate, there's no point that we're going to put at 0. Okay, gang, I think I got it rough sketched here. Okay, so our graph is shifted pi over 4 to the right. It's got an amplitude of 2, so from the center it goes up 2, down 2. It's reflected over the x-axis, so instead of it being up here, it's down here, and then it's all pushed up 1. Alright gang, I hope you enjoyed the video. Be able to do this technique for sine or cosine. I'll catch you. Bye-bye.